Alright, today's video is going to cover intercepts from a graph, and intercepts are essentially where this blue line crosses the y-axis, which that would be the y-intercept, and where this blue line crosses this x-axis, which would be considered the x-intercept. Now, there's a couple important things to note. The x-intercept, right? So this point right here always has a y value of 0. So we already know that the x-intercept has a y value of 0. And then this y-intercept down here, where this blue line is crossing the y, always has a x value, an x coordinate of 0, because it's even with 0 for x. Okay, so I can go ahead and put those in. So the y-intercept always has an x coordinate of 0. The x-intercept always has a y coordinate of 0. And now I'm essentially just typing in where that line's crossing the x. So the x-intercept, it's crossing at 3 for the x. So the x-intercept is 3 for x, comma 0 for y. And the y-intercept down here is crossing at 0 for x, and then negative 10 for y. And then we can go ahead and type that in. And essentially that's it. That's about as easy as it gets. Now, some of these questions you're going to have to pay attention to how much each box is going up by. So you can see each box, so every 2 boxes is going up by 1. So that means every box here is going up by 0.5. So the x-intercept has a y value of 0. The y-intercept has an x value of 0. And now we're just going to focus in on where the x is crossing. So this line's crossing the x between negative 7 and negative 8. Right in the middle of those, which would be negative 7.5. And the y-intercept right here is crossing between 6 and 5. So what would be the middle of 6 and 5? The middle would be 5.5 or 5.5. So here it looks like the boxes, every 2 boxes is 10, which means if I divide 10 by 2, I take 10 and I divide it by 2, that means each box is 5. So they're going up by 5. So let's go ahead and do the x-intercept. So the x-intercept, where it's crossing the horizontal, is crossing at negative 40. So negative 40 is crossing, and we know that that y value there is 0. And the y-intercept is crossing between 5 and 20. Between 10 and 20. So add 5 to 10, that'd be 15. So the y-intercept always has an x value of 0. And here we go, the last one. So let's go ahead and do the y first. So you can see the y up there at the top of the screen is crossing at 0.4. So the y-intercept is crossing at 0.4, and it always has an x value of 0 because it's even with 0 on the horizontal axis. And the x value here is crossing between 0.2 and 0.4. So what's midway between 0.2 and 0.4 is 0.3. So 0.3 is the x value it's crossing on, and the x-intercept always has a y value of 0. And that's how you graph intercepts, or that's how you identify the intercepts from a graph. Good luck. Shout out to my Betty Fairfax students.